Now it's time to welcome our guest, Mike Pettigrew. Mike is the author of several best-selling books, including Unlock Gratitude Now and the most powerful goal achievement system in the world. He has built and sold more than 15 businesses, and his companies have made millions. But he also knows about the dangers of bad decision-making and trusting the wrong people. After selling his first business to a multinational company, Mike lost everything, even reaching a point where he had no money for food, for his wife, or their newborn baby. In the end, however, he transformed the situation and went on to become an even greater success. Now he specializes in helping others transform their own circumstances and to achieve their loftiest goals. Mike, it's my pleasure to have you here on the show today. Welcome.
Thank you so much, David.
So, for most of our viewers, which might be unfamiliar with the story of your loss and recovery, do you mind sharing?
Sure. Well, I started my first, I started my first business when I was 15, but I started my first real business when, back in 1987, and it was a plant business. We rented and sold tropical plants to offices, and that went great. And I built that business over 14 years, up to the point where I sold it to a multinational. And I thought I'd take an early retirement at that stage, but you know what? Life often has twists and turns we can't possibly expect. And as you said a moment ago, I trusted the wrong people. I made bad decisions, bad investments, and just a few short years later, it was all gone. Our son was born, and I couldn't feed him or my wife or myself. And it's incredibly frightening when you lose everything and you can't look after your loved ones. And I suppose it was a double shock for me because I'd been very successful. I'd been very positive, very optimistic, and that served me. And I'm really, the mind creates, and what we dwell upon the most happens. And I really discovered it going through pure hell. I reached the point where I just couldn't take it anymore. And I don't know whether my prayer was answered, but I vowed to the universe, this has got to change. I must change. I will change. And the very next day, I picked up a book written over 100 years ago. And that book, David, was all about the power of gratitude. And I realized, really, it just hit me so strongly, how far I had sunk from someone very optimistic and confident and capable to hating myself, berating myself, doubting myself, feeling so guilty. And I realized that if it was to change this situation, I had to change my dominant thoughts and my dominant emotions, because that's what creates our circumstances.
Yeah,
hard reality.
People beat themselves up all the time when something goes wrong. You know, I had an incident like that too. I talked about on a recent show over the last couple of weeks where I was in my early 20s. I trusted an old high school friend, and I actually borrowed money to invest in his company and ended up losing 6 figures. Now, I was just me. I didn't have a family to worry about, so it wasn't quite as bad. But I also find when I look back that taught me a lot, not just about gratitude, but also more tangible things about how to make good financial decisions or how to avoid financial decisions. So tell me, what other, beside the mental game and the gratitude, what else did that experience teach you?
To be honest, it taught me the power of negative thinking. It taught me, I had experienced the power of positive thinking for many years. It taught me what most people experience to quite a degree. And it was shocking. And I've come out the other end, and it really was through doing gratitude practices. But I've come out the other end, and like you, I learned so much from this experience about the mind, about human beings, human nature. And I'm so grateful for this experience now, so grateful, because it now enables me to help people all over the world, large numbers of people all over the world, overcome their own difficult situations and help them expand their, what would you say, their degree of possibility dramatically. And I think it comes down to baby steps. When we take small, consistent actions, they add up. You know, the saying, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
And as you said, not beating yourself up is the beginning of it. So listen, I hear the music playing in my ear. That means we need to go for a commercial break. We'll be right back in just a minute. Stay with us, Mike. Right now it's time to welcome back Mike Pettigrew, author of The Most Powerful Goal Achievement System in the World. And Mike, we were talking a little bit about some of your own experience that caused you to be motivated to get into this field. But if you had to go back to your own personal experience and say what the number one emotion was that maybe caused you to make a bad decision in the first place. In simple terms, what was that number one emotion, do you think, that was the first domino that caused all the others to fall?
Oh, it's so clear. Fear, David, fear. I sold my company, as I say, to a multinational. Then basically, the way my accountant structured the deal, I had to pay a huge amount of tax. Huge amount. He told me he could squash the tax bill, but he couldn't. And when I discovered that he wasn't able to help, I suddenly started panicking. I thought, oh no, I'm going to have to go back into business. And you know, when you are fearful, you make really bad decisions. And that's why I ended up, trusting someone. All my friends said, you're mad. What are you doing trusting this guy? But, fear, absolutely. That's the biggest fear.
It's a biggie. I mean, do you think that most people are aware of how strong a role personal psychology, specifically fear, plays in their decisions in determining financial success or failure? Or do you think most are really maybe oblivious to it to a certain degree?
Oblivious. I really believe, David, most people are oblivious. And it's not just fear and negative emotions. We're all conditioned. This is the biggest problem. The one thing that stops people achieving a better life, achieving financial freedom, success, is, well, all these subconscious beliefs that we have. And, we're conditioned from the moment we're born. As we go through life right into adulthood, we're told how to think and what we can achieve and what we can't achieve and what not to think and what to think. And, it's parents and relatives and brothers and sisters and teachers and religions and governments and advertising. Sure. By the time we get into our early 20s, we have so much baggage we're not even aware of. And it's that conditioning that holds people back. So if you don't do something about it, your ability to get to the next level is greatly curtailed, dramatically curtailed.
You really do sound like a psychologist now. It says everything goes back to your childhood. And you're right, when it comes to money, if you think about it, I have stories where even people whom I know personally, who maybe grew up thinking, money is evil. If you have a lot of money, then you must be taking advantage of other people. And as a result, as they grew up and started to make money, they'd spend it faster than they'd make it. It's almost as if money was dirty. It's like, get this money away from me because, my mom and dad would have thought I'm a bad person had I made a lot of money.
That's it.
We want to come back in just a minute after this last commercial break, so please stay with us for one more segment, one more block. But as we do, we want to talk more about your process for getting people to set financial goals. We'll be right back in a minute. Right now it's time for one final block to welcome back Mike Pettigrew, author of The Most Powerful Goal Achievement System in the World. Mike, if you were teaching me about how to set and achieve goals, how would you go about doing it?
Well, to be honest, David, I think that a lot of goal achievement systems are far too complex, far too many steps, and people need simplicity. They need to get results right from the start, or else they give up. It's simple as that. So the most powerful goal achievement system in the world is only a 7-step process. And, I go into it obviously in detail in my bestseller. But the first step is decide what you want. Be crystal clear about what you want. If you're not sure what you want, chances are you won't get it. Sure. But number 2 is then to emotionalize your goals. You do this by combining goals that can assist each other so that there's a lot more depth of feeling in, because honestly, if we don't have much feeling towards our goals, we can't achieve them. As Napoleon Hill said in Think and Grow Rich, we need to summon up a burning desire. Emotion is the number one factor. It acts as a catalyst to make the impossible possible. So that's number 2. Number 3 is give each goal a deadline. It's self-explanatory, and that's in every system. That's right. Number 4, program your mind. program your mind. Now, that sounds crazy. Do you turn into some sort of cyborg? Not at all. It's converting your goals into affirmations, which are positive, empowering statements that you make to yourself morning and evening with emotion.
Absolutely.
And these affirmations, converting your goals into affirmations, works miracles. That's number 4. Number 5, plan for accelerated success. You need to plan from how to get from here to where you want to go. Action steps. A wonderful way to do this, a wonderful way, is to use mind mapping. Mind mapping is fantastic. It stimulates the creative process. That's number 5. Number 6 is become a high performer. And high performance is about succeeding above and beyond standard norms consistently over the long term. And there are very simple habits that Brendan Burchard's High Performance Institute have found that these specific habits are adopted by the world's highest performers, and anyone can use them to get way beyond what they would normally do under their own steam. That's number 6. Number 7 is and I think it's the biggest, overcome limiting beliefs. Then there is a process, very simple process, to uncover, root out those limiting beliefs that are holding you back in whatever area of life that you're trying to improve. And then there's another very simple process to overcome those limiting beliefs. Very simple, very simple. Simplicity is what human beings need these days, not complexity.
So in the 30 seconds or so we have left, tell us, is there anybody that's too old, kind of rhetorical question, to be able to do this type of thing right here and to get excited about their future? And then lastly, where can they find your book?
Definitely. I think, David, the way to stay perpetually young is to be engaged with the world, to be interested. That is what keeps us alive. So it doesn't matter. And I had someone coming to me for about 2 months ago for coaching. He's 80 years of age and he has his own business at 80. Now, that's what I intend to be doing when I'm 80.
I love it.
Get my book. My book is available on Amazon.
Amazon?
It's the first page of personal success bestsellers since last October. So I'm really happy about that. And it really can change people's lives.
I love it. I love it. I think you should go out. I think you should get Mike's book. Sounds wonderful. Mike, thank you for joining us. And you stay with us. We'll be right back with more in just a moment.